liberty and justice for all. Mayor, if we could please have a moment of silence, as it is our custom, for those who are serving here and abroad to return home safely to their families. Roll call. Mr. Bierman?
Here.
Mr. Camerata?
Here.
Ms. Grover?
Here.
Ms. Hockman is not here. Mr. Carley?
Here.
The next item on the agenda is the open public meeting statement, which I will read aloud. In compliance with Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of 1975, this meeting was given way by annual notice filed with the Township Clerk, the Home News Tribune, the North South Brunswick Sentinel, and the Trenton Times, and posted on the bulletin board in the South Brunswick Municipal Building on January 11th, 2024. Mayor, the address from the floor is the next item on the agenda. Is there a motion to open to the public?
I'll make that motion. I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Is there anyone from the public wishing to speak? Please come up to the podium and state your name.
You have to be shy.
Okay.
Fun. You only get one dime, so one phone call when you go to prison.
Whoa.
Hi, Mike Haverdansky, live in the Heathcote section of town. So, over the past couple of months, a lot of the redevelopment that's been passed in town has been in that section of town, in a very small section of town, like a 3.5 mile stretch between Raymond Road and Ridge Road. 200 units at the Sonesta of housing, the Sonesta being converted, 300 units going into Campus Drive, 16 potential 100 in Ridge Road, Chalks Perrine. That's in that redevelopment plan, which I know is being fought, and the whole redevelopment of Princeton nurseries. So, as somebody who lives down there, who already knows, how bad the traffic is on Route 1, who, sometimes if I'm, home 5:30, my car's sticking out of the too short jug handle already at Raymond Road. And then the jug handle at Ridge is an absolute nightmare already. I can't imagine, what's going to happen. Not here to say you shouldn't do it, we can't do it, it's already passed, I get that. What I'm asking for is a plan. What's the town's plan on how to deal with all of this that's coming? I drive south every morning. One of my son works at Lowe's. He drives south every morning. That intersection at Ridge, I can't imagine what it's going to be like. How are we going to prevent trucks from, rumbling up Academy through Kingston, or, going the other way up past the high school and through Monmouth Junction? These guys tend to follow GPS, not road signs. Yeah. So, all of this development also seems to be in Kingston Fire District. What's the plan for Kingston Fire District? Do they have, the resources, or can they cover all of this new, what's the plan? Kingston First Aid recently, or within the last 5 years or whatever, closed. Does that have to be reopened? It seems like, just doing the way the map is now, all the kids here would either end up at Cambridge or Monmouth Junction. Both seem to be smaller or not expandable. What's the plan there? I'm an accountant by trade, so budget and spreadsheets are my thing. I look through the town plan, and it's in planning speak and engineer speak. So if the answer's in there, I need it in a plainer English. Yeah. But I do have all of these concerns. I know we've passed all this stuff and it's coming. How are we going to deal with it? As somebody who lives down there.
No, your concerns are valid. We have been taking measures in anticipation of most of that development is court mandated out of Mount Laurel Phase 2. Joe and I have been we've been wrestling with that since 2009, trying to hold a lot of that overdevelopment off. The court has spoken on it. So we have that wasn't legislated by this agency. It was determined by judges.
Well, but if I read that right, sorry to interrupt, it's really just the Shawks Ridge Road that's a builder's remedy, right? The Campus Drive I didn't see as part of the
Yeah, no,
6
that
builder
wasn't-
remedy sites in the
No, but
Phase 3
in
plan?
2025, we're going to have yet another number.
Correct, but won't we?
But the other thing, again, in preparation for that other number, we have disused sites all up and down Route 1. And we can agree that the old Boy Scouts headquarters was a mess.
Oh,
It
absolutely.
was an attractive nuisance. Kids are getting up on the roof, doing bonfires on the roof. You live down there.
I
so
do.
you know.
I drive past it every day.
Yeah,
Agreed.
and so,
It's a shame because it's a really nice building. in
It
another
was,
way.
it was.
Thought it already should have been a brewery, right? It's like a
that would have
brewery.
been nice, but we should have had a winery in Mapleton Road, but that didn't happen either. Joe, but that's the beauty of having a legislative body, that you can agree and disagree, but as long as we're civil, that's great. But in terms of the intersection of Ridge Road and Route 1, we have preliminary concept plans for the improvement of that intersection. They're available through Town Hall.
Right.
We've run that up the flagpole with DOT. We have a little bit of an oddity here in South Brunswick in terms of intersection improvements like Promenade and Route 1 all those years ago. The municipality ends up funding them. It's not the state, but the state sometimes lacks appropriate energy, I'll say. Sometimes. Sometimes they have appropriate energy. So we're acutely aware of the need to improve that intersection right now. Relative to the fire district, that's an autonomous governmental entity. You'll notice on your tax bill, you have the fire district tariff. And that's fine. They do a great job, volunteers. It's a great bargain for the taxpayers. The fire district is aware of what's going on within the corporate boundaries of the fire districts. So we would expect that they will be in pretty good feather. I'll make it, well, actually, I want to ask Brian to make it his business to send a letter to the chief over in Kingston just to outline what the heck's going on. Suspenders were your bill, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So your concerns are legitimate. In terms of transportation, we have a transportation advisory committee, which is active.
I'm actually on that.
He's
So
on
you
it.
appointed me. So.
That was a good move, Charlie.
Well, it's funny I tell the story because I was complaining at a town council meeting and you told me to put my money where my mouth is. And so I did and you appointed me.
Good.
So.
But I think that committee is probably the prime reason why we have the shoulder running.
Yeah, no, agreed.
The prime reason we have that. So, we are undertaking steps in anticipation of development along particularly the Route 1 corridor, because that's the north and south. East to west in this town's always been problematic.
Right.
When I moved in 1990, remember over at the senior center, DOT had these charrette community work sessions where everything was going to be a flyover. Say Wynwood to Whispering Woods Boulevard would be a road, so that way the main line could be more efficient.
And an overpass.
Yeah.
Yeah, overpasses.
No, in a bicycle overpass, they were talking about too, yeah.
No, and the
But the
double turns,
whatchamacallit,
the alternating lights works great.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatchamacallit, that never came to fruition. So it's the United States of America. Everything takes a long time to get done.
Yeah, it would just be good to see, what you guys are
Yeah.
planning and how we
we're
plan to deal with it. I know
planning
it's
stuff within-
years away, but,
Yeah.
what's the plan? And then, real quick, since you brought it up, the Phase 3 or Phase 4 coming?
Yeah.
Round
Phase 4
four,
coming.
round four.
So, do we get the builder's immunity back in Phase 4? Does it start over, or does the
The
court
short
order
answer is
from
yes.
3?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going
Well-
to be a fresh number for
It's
everyone.
Yeah,
it's gonna be-
yeah,
Right, it's
yeah.
gonna be a fresh number for everybody. And then, yeah, the immunity starts, but it's back to the bargaining table.
Yeah. No, I was just curious about
And what-
whether
and
we
Mike,
get
what happened
our
with-
autonomy back?
A lot of these were what they call builders objectors. And there was like 10, I think, in the beginning,
Yeah, there were
10 or
10.
11.
Yeah.
They have basically status to object and to go on their own. So we've been dealing with them separately, and some we've tried to make something that's more amendable for everyone.
Yeah.
So that's all.
I was reading the plan, and I
Yeah.
know the judge
So we're dealing
ruled
with,
against
basically,
and
we were
lost our
dealing with,
immunity, and
we're dealing with these developers. They had 3 aces and a 10.
Yeah.
And we had 5 cars that didn't match. So,
yeah, I just
mean,
was curious as to, in the next phase, that we get our
Yeah, we're
autonomy
back, yeah,
and, you know, we can pick and choose, because feels like
No,
tons
we're
of
picking-
space
we're-
on
We're trying
130.
to pick and choose now so the development
Right.
follows a coherent path. If you just
Impacts
stick a
Graham.
finger in your ear and pretend nothing's ever going to happen, it's going to happen in the future.
Oh, no,
Always
I get
comes.
it. We're
So
going to get allotted a
So
number.
we're picking now where we'd like development to occur. The plowing over forested woodlands, it doesn't appeal to anyone.
No.
But if we have a derelict site, there's the owner right there, Gary Bruder. He, right? Yeah.
Brian, yes.
Brian Bruder. And so that little gift to South Brunswick, you can talk to Mr. Bruder
That's
about
the
it.
campus drive?
Yes. So
Yeah, I'd
we're
like to
trying
know.
to pick where it's more appropriate to have development, rather than have farmland and woodlands.
I get that,
spread
too.
over.
That makes
And
sense.
so, it hasn't been easy, and it's been time-consuming, and it's caused all of us a lot of sleepless nights, because when you change the built environment of the town,
Yeah.
whether you're for it or against it, you get labeled with it.
Yeah, and we don't kind of want the town to
Go to
turn
hell in
into a
a
city.
handbasket.
You know what I mean? If I wanted to live in New Brunswick, I'd live in New Brunswick, right? So,
Yeah.
you know, so. And then last time I was here, I asked about the budget. It's any updates? I kind of.
We're hopeful that, we're working on it still, and we're hopeful to have it in front of the council in September.
Okay, yeah. Just want to say thanks.
Thanks, Mike.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak? Come up to the podium and please state your name.
Good evening. My name is Syed Rizvi, residents of 41 Jeffrey Circle in Dayton. And first of all, I want to thank Mr. Carley that we are enjoying the pickleball court
Good.
that you have given us.
I didn't give it to you. You gave it to yourself. You paid taxes.
No, it is your effort that you approved, and now there are so many people coming in and enjoying the game.
Good.
The reason we are here, we don't see that in South Brunswick any courts, tennis court or pickleball has lights there. I mean, we are here just to request you that any tennis court or this pickleball place, if you can arrange some lighting so that during winter time, fall and upward, by the time you come, it is already dark.
At 5 o'clock, it's
Yeah,
dark.
it is dark, so if you consider having a night light arrangement done there.
All roads tonight run through Joe Camerata. Did you bring that up
Okay,
with
Joe.
Rec?
Actually, Mayor, we've brought that up. We installed those pickleball courts last year
Right.
for about 200,000 with the intention to have lights put up this year.
Oh,
The
very
quotes came in and they were double that amount. They're about $400,000.
That is great news for us.
That's not good news for us. So
I mean,
we were
night
anticipating
lights have
maybe $100,000 to $200,000.
Already, 185.
So the
Yeah.
$400,000 was a little too much more than we could chew. So with, Mr. Bidlack just said, in the discussions moving forward with the budget for the capital projects, we're going to have to increase that amount, and unfortunately, we won't be able to do it this year, but with full intention to do it next year.
Right. More reason I want to just point out that all the surrounding towns, Monroe, North Brunswick, Princeton, Lawrenceville, they already have night lights so that residents, they play there.
Right.
One bad work which is done at Woodlot Park Tennis Court, it is just waste of money. The way I see that, it is all cracks there. The work is not done right, so it is not playable at all. It is newly done, maybe 2 years back, before or during pandemic.
We
It was-
resurfaced that last year, actually. Ken and I walked
Yeah,
out there,
yeah,
and
actually.
we resurfaced this. We know that's a Band-Aid. Again, we're looking to.
I think those resurfaced 2-inch, 3-inch cracks.
Yeah,
I think it
we
was
did
filled
mostly,
up, but it settled down again.
Yes,
Right,
and
we
that's
did
the
mostly-
problem there.
That's
we
the
did
problem.
mostly crack repair.
So it
Yes.
is not playable, people can fall in and get injured.
Well,
And third
so
point,
no-
I need to bring that neither, before pandemic, South Brunswick School has 6 court, I believe, 6 or 8. They have a night light. The residents of South Brunswick was allowed to play there, but they, for some reason, they not allowing us. So if anything can be done to get that arrangement
I make it
done.
my business never to comment on school government because
Oh, okay.
it's, I don't think it's a place for our government to comment. But I can relate to you an observation. The school community has put a question for the voters in November
Okay.
to provide, I think, $350,000
Yep.
for access to that built facility. That's a good question for the school board because that is their baby.
Yeah.
There is a tennis court at Majority School also, so that also doesn't have light.
What are
All understood.
Yep.
We didn't have,
Yeah.
we weren't in such a lather to provide tennis courts. We have some on Kingsley, et cetera.
Yeah, Kingsley Court is very nice. It is
Yep.
it is done very
But
nice
we-
with the
we
night light. It
weren't
will be great.
In such a, and government moves slowly, like I said before, we weren't in such a rush to provide racket sport infrastructure until the schools put a padlock on their infrastructure to the general public. I'm sure it's available to students. I don't know. But that's a good question, but it's better posed to the South Brunswick Board of Education.
Board of Education. Okay, but still you will think of putting those which is
Yeah, we'll do it.
townships to have lights. That helps us a lot
Once
because
the horse is out of
half
the
of
gate,
the
you
year
can
we
call
cannot
it
play.
back.
That's the perfect spot for it. That's why we chose that spot.
Right.
Because there's no housing, nothing there except
Yep.
Public Works.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so that's it from our side.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you
Thank-
for giving time.
That fellow has his hand up.
add something to tennis courts also.
Okay.
Please state your name for the record.
My name is Dr. Mahmood. I live at 45 Hyder Court in Mahmood Junction. And Woodlot Parks have 5 courts. And one of them was never playable. It was not, even today, it is not playable. It was not playable after the renovation, after the painting, which is a cosmetic touch, and there was no cracks filled. And to the best of my knowledge, I go there very often. I don't see any cracks filled over there. And all this thing is like from far away, if you're driving, you can see a beautiful thing, but it's not.
Okay.
When you go there and you play, like if you play tennis, we are not the best of the players, but we just want to
Well,
exercise.
you don't want to break your ankle.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I got you.
So I never saw anything beautiful about that court except for the painted surface. There was the cracks are still there, and the 5th court. So there are 2 courts in one and enclosure, and there are 3 courts in the other one. The 3rd court, which is closer to the entrance, was never fixed. I mean, there were no nets over there even then.
That court, I can answer that, Mayor.
Okay, yeah.
That court was just not repairable. It was too far gone. There's no fix to it. We can't, without resurfacing the entire court, it would have been a safety hazard to try to fix that court. For
Okay,
people to play on
so
it.
I live in Monmouth Junction, Monmouth Walk, right across, and that development has 2 tennis courts, and they were fixed very recently. They did not do a great job, but the other one, Quincy Circle, that has 2 tennis courts also. They did a fabulous job over there, and I don't know how much it cost, but county, obviously, city has lots of resources as compared to housing association. So that is has to be done a better job about that.
Do us a favor, if you could, not to give you a part-time job. If you could give us a contact with the HOA over there, and that way we can talk to them and pick their brain.
Sure.
One of the essential problems with Woodlawn Park, this goes back before I was born.
Yep.
That was the municipal landfill, that and the property across the street from it. And once upon a time, the town fathers and mothers decided it'd be a good idea to accept that land and put some soil over top of it and make it into a park.
Yeah.
Well, the stuff underneath that soil is, while inert, settles. And so you see that reflected in the pavement over top of it. There used to be a hand-built ball court there years ago, but the wall crumbled and they had to
I remember that.
remove it. The basketball courts used to be up front,
Right.
but they couldn't maintain them because the essential problem is underneath is stuff.
Yeah, it's not stable. The subsurface is not stable.
So,
So it's not just a question of resurfacing a little bit of macadam and putting another inch or two up top. You've got to dig way down. You've got to get to the
The
bottom
base,
of
you
the pit.
gotta fortify the base.
Probably we can choose a different location then.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we're thinking about, yes.
but, you know, I say this a lot. Everyone thinks it's an Irish thing, it's an English thing. It's a long way to Tipperary. All of the land that we own, the state has a law called Green Acres. And so they put a restrictive easement on such things. When we're doing the expansion of the library, that took a lot of backflips with the state just to have them say, okay, you can go and use the property which has been in your custody, the municipality's custody for generations, and you could use it for the purpose that it's been in the municipality's custody. So we were looking at expansion of facilities over at Roland, not Roland, Sonbeck Park.
Yeah.
Roland Road, we put cricket pitches up over there. But it's a couple of year process getting through the state protocols for Green Acres. So we are working with the state relative to Sonbeck Park. But as Joe said, and I've said, and actually all of us said, government works at a different speed.
Yeah.
So we're working on it, but I'd be lying to you if I said, you know what, next weekend you're going to see tennis courts there.
Yeah,
And,
but
that's not a business I like to get into, over-promising and under-delivering.
yeah. My suggestion is that the easiest thing is the high school tennis court should be open to general public. As before, they were open to everybody.
I'm in the uncomfortable position of agreeing with you, but we don't comment
We don't adjudicate.
on school
That is
matters.
their domain.
Yeah, I-
That
and,
doesn't come under city council.
Separate entities.
No, it's a school board property.
They have an
own it.
election
Right.
every November,
Okay. All right.
just like we have an election, just a different form of government, different branch of government.
Okay.
The fire district has an election in February, right?
Yep.
Yeah, the second Saturday in February. So you have opportunities to comment through the vote on us, the schools, the fire districts. And then if you really take it and you get crazy, this year you have freeholders, a U.S. Senator, a Congressperson, and President of the United States. You get a chance to, well, it used to be you'd flick that little brass thing,
Yeah.
and now you just press a button on the
Yeah.
computer. So you get your say-so every November in a direct way. But we always enjoy having conversations with the folks we work for.
Right, thank you.
Because if you don't tell us what the heck's going on,
We don't know.
you know, everything's fine and dandy.
Right. At least we put our word across to you.
Yes,
Okay.
and we act on it, but we try and be forthright to people. It's going to take a piece. We'll all live to see tennis courts, but it's going to take a little bit of time. So keep in touch with us through Brian's offices, and we'll give you updates regularly. We try and keep the public updated because, particularly with road projects, you know, you're sitting on a road and it's not convenient, scratch your head and say, when's this ever going to be done? So we like people to, and Ken has a saying, Say you're saying about information.
Oh, yeah. People can take bad information, but they can't
Bad
take
news.
no information. You can't. All right, I can. If I told you bad news that, which the mayor just did, you're not getting tennis courts tomorrow. You can understand that. But if I said, oh, nothing, you don't like that.
Yeah, so we try and be forthright with people.
Transparent.
Thank you. I must say, Kingsley tennis courts are the beautiful, very beautiful property, nicely developed. And rain is all. Whenever it rains, it's very easy to clean that court, and you have the thing to clean the court as,
Right.
and it's beautiful property. It's very nice. Thank you very much for that, though. I think.
But, to that point, the other thing that we've been talking about, we haven't really moved on it aggressively because we have to go back to the state. There's the back area beyond the trees on Kingsley. It used to be
Yes.
a baseball field.
Yes.
Probably still is, but I'm a big baseball fan. I grew up with it. Well, it's not what it used to be. And so that baseball field, both my son and my daughter did a full cycle through softball, girls softball, and boys little league up until high school. Never played on that field. So that field is just occupying space.
I played on that field.
Well, that was back in 1852 when Abraham Lincoln was president.
I played on that field.
But we're looking at repurposing that baseball field either as a cricket pitch or tennis courts. So if you or anyone you know has any input, tell them to shoot us an email through the website because we'd like to. I want to shock you. I don't play cricket. I don't play tennis, so I don't know. But there are people who do that.
Right.
Play those things. So we'd like to get a sense of what fits the community better. And the only way we do that is for folks to tell us.
Right.
You know. But that's the long and short of it, sir.
All right. Thank you, Mayor.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I'll
How
be
you
quick
doing?
because I gotta get her out of here. We're playing cat.
Understood.
Sorry.
No worries.
So I just want to say thank you to everyone who responded to my post about my missing wheelchair and to the community because the community was great. They gave me some ideas. We worked high and low for this wheelchair. It fell off the back of my car. 10 minutes later, when I went back and around to go get it, it was gone. Literally gone. That was the wheelchair that was built for her. She couldn't even move that wheelchair. It was an amazing wheelchair. So, no, we didn't do a GoFundMe because it would have been way too much money. And the insurance took over.
Okay.
So I just wanted to thank you for that. I just had a quick question about ultraviolet. When we talked about ultraviolet water and everything to find out what was going on with that, I've never heard from anybody. And did anyone do any research about that? I know that someone in the township did call me about that and was checking into it, but we never had gotten back. I think it just became dormant. We have 2 wells that could really use some ultraviolet water. If they can do it in Paris, France, we can do it in South Brunswick Township. We're not as big as Paris, France. We're little. We can do.
We have the Olympics coming up.
No. This was before the Olympics. Actually, they were
I know,
talking
but
about
they did
it.
it for the Olympics.
But you're not allowed to walk around with water bottles in Paris. You have to walk around with a water bottle that is usable.
I thought you were talking about the cleanup of the Seine River.
Yeah, it's really good.
No. This was actually ultraviolet.
Oh, okay.
I will have somebody.
Whatever happened over there, I don't know. What happened in here, I do know. And our water is horrible.
Well, France has multi-dimensional issues with water, it appears.
I get it, but ours isn't the greatest either. So we really need to check the wells and maybe do some ultraviolet with the
We
water.
have a ton of oversight from DEP about our well water. As a matter of fact, something came up a couple of weeks ago, but they have, every 3 months, they do an inspection of our well points. So we have a lot of oversight. And then we do public notices as required.
Yeah, those are a little scary, some of those notices.
They sound worse than they
Very
are,
ominous, but they're not.
I can assure you, you pay for your water here. It's not free. Whenever you turn a tap on, we send you a love letter at the end of the quarter saying, hey.
Yeah, we know, we're ahead of the game.
I know.
You have no idea.
And so, but you get what you pay. You do get what you pay for. The water here, the potable water is very clean. We invest in the infrastructure. People complain about New Road. It's bumpy right now, but part of the responsibility of government is not to ignore what you own and let it go to hell in Flinders. And so those water lines were how old?
Oh, they were
Very
built in
old.
the 60s. They were built in the 60s.
I lived here in the 60s.
Yep,
There you go.
there you go.
So we lived on Blair Road in 1964.
Oh, there you go.
So we've been here for a long time. My parents are buried in Washington Cemetery, and I'm the only one that's left. My sister left the state. My brother is wherever, floating around.
Okay. But,
But if-
we invest in, and not just us, the people who preceded us and the people that'll come after us.
But is there a way to really do ultraviolet? Because if
Sure.
they can do
If
it,
there's a will, there's a way.
Sharon, I will have someone from the water department reach out to you and go over it with you, okay?
I'm just curious because
I'm an engineer by trade. I'm sort of curious too in terms of cost and things of that nature, just to see what their findings are. I get half an education sitting around here. It's true.
I can provide some basic information for council.
Yeah,
on that.
please.
Yep.
All right.
that would be nice if we could do something. But again, I'd like to thank the police department for going on a wild goose chase, looking for the wheelchair, and thank you again for everyone all involved because it's insane. So,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for keeping us advised.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak?
Seeing none, motion to close the public session.
I'll second.
This is
All in
5 years ago
favor?
Wheelchair. That was a brand new one. Just so you all know.
Hopefully you get the insurance company goes through.
6 months.
Oh,
Between now and 6 months.
They're moving at the speed of government.
It's insurance.
that's insurance company. You want government.
They're terrible.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Mayor, the next item on the agenda is the minutes. We do have 3 sets of minutes. The first set and the third set we'll take together as everyone was present. Is there a motion to accept the regular minutes of July 17th, 2024, and the work session of August 7th, 2024?
Yes, so moved.
Second.
Roll call, Mr. Bierman,
Yes.
Mr. Camerata,
Yes.
Ms. Grover,
Yes.
and Mr. Carley.
Yes.
Okay, and the last set of minutes is the executive session that was held on August 7th. Ms. Grover, you were not present. Is there a motion to accept the executive session minutes?
Yes, so moved.
Second.
Roll call. Mr. Bierman,
Yes.
Mr. Camerata,
Yes.
Ms. Grover, and Mr. Carley.
Yes.
The next item on the agenda is the reports, Mayor.
Mr. Bidlack.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. First of all, just an announcement, with Labor Day coming, the municipal offices will be closed on that Monday, September 2nd. There will be no trash recycling collection that day. The materials that would normally be picked up on that day will be picked up on Wednesday, September 4th. We are coming into we're turning from summer to fall. Starting in September, we will start holding our Veterans Street Recognition events again.
Off of Joe Duke, right?
On Saturday, September 7th, we'll start the first one for the fall will be for Vietnam veteran Joe Duca. And that'll be at Ridge in East New Road.
And he has the nicest ponytail in town.
And Dutch's brother.
Oh, true.
Yes, he does.
I want to grow a mullet and honor him.
Dutch's brother 2 weeks later.
So that'll be at 11 o'clock that morning on Saturday, September 7th. And the other item I'd like to just mention is on Sunday, September 8th, the Middlesex County Residential Paper Shred Event will be at Beechwood Park, rain or shine, from 9 to 12, or until the trucks are filled. So there will be a shredded event at Beechwood Park on September 8th. That's all I have.
That was scintillating.
How about it?
Mr. Womack.
Nothing to publicly report this evening, Mayor.
Okay.
You want to send us notes?
You're all right? Nothing? Nada?
No report, Mayor.
You're doing a good job, by the way.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you, Mayor. I
There
have
will
a
be no raise.
it's been a very busy month, actually. We attended the National Night Out along with my colleagues, and it was very well attended. It was attended by more than 8,500 people. A lot of free food, and it was very well attended. And then again, it was August 15th was the Indian Independence Day, which was also a very good gathering at the old YMCA. Old YMCA, which is Swaminarayan Mandir now, and a lot of people attended that also. And at the senior center, we celebrated Chinese opera. Actually, we had it. It was my first time attending and having it to see the story of the Chinese opera, beautifully presented, and it was more than 150 people there. So you can imagine how our senior center has been used for any cultural programs, and we have very diverse community coming to our senior center, and we try to accommodate everybody to celebrate whatever they have. And they also, for about 20 minutes, we celebrated Indian Independence Day also. So people were very happy there. What else? And the Senior Center Advisory Board meeting will be the next Thursday, not next, 2 weeks, right? September 5th. And I want more people to come and see what we do at the Senior Center. So it will be good for them to see. And I'm looking for some volunteers for the Women Commission. And please go on the website and file for it. The application is there on the website. And I really am looking for some volunteers. And one more message, soon the schools will be opening after the Labor Day. I want people, I see them driving all around town on shoulders and all over. Please be careful when the school buses are around. Stop for the stop sign for the school buses and try to be careful because the kids are going to be out. Thank you, and that's my report, Mayor. Thank you.
Very nice. Councilman Cameron?
Thank you. I can see you've been very busy. It takes a lot. You're moving around, doing a lot of things. Good for you. I have two items on my report today, Mayor. The first one is last year, Industry and Commerce, I'm getting old. Economic Development Committee had what we call our legacy event.
You know, Joe, the next Senior Advisory Council event, make sure there's food there. We can sit in the audience.
Exactly. Flash our ARP cards. We had the initial legacy event, and this year we're having it again October 24th at the DoubleTree Hotel. At the last meeting, there was 3 companies that were considered for becoming part of our legacy event, and that's Gordon Day Farms, Crossroad Nurseries, and High Grade Beverage, all been long-standing companies in South Brunswick. 7 years ago, Charlie, when we first got on, there was a lot of talk about widening Route 1.
Yeah.
And it was a $350 million project at the time, back in 2004. Soon after that, despite all our deliberations and efforts, it got to the point where it was $1 billion project. So back in 2017...
Back in those days, we go down to Washington a lot.
With under Matt Watkins, we got some grants. We got and they actually changed the name of it to the Bottleneck Relief Project because they didn't want people to think that there was issues about widening it. But with all that said, that's the history of it. But in 2017, we finally convinced DOT to start a pilot program on about 2.5 miles of Route 1, utilizing the shoulder during the peak hours. Despite their concern, it was a highly successful program that won several awards around the country. And our goal has always been to have that implemented throughout Route 1. Well, tomorrow that starts, and it's an exciting day. So throughout all Route 1 in South Brunswick, that's going to be, we got about 7-8 miles, something like that, 7-8 miles. You'll be able to utilize it's about a $7 million project. you'll be able, and you all paid for that through your gas. If you buy gas, you paid for it, so thank you. We all did.
We have a choice.
Exactly, we didn't have a choice. So anyway, that's going to start tomorrow, and just that's going to go from now, the increased area will be from Promenade Boulevard all the way to Thomas Avenue in North Brunswick, just north of Finnegan's Lane, both ways. That's only for cars, of course, and that will go on for several months, and hopefully it will be successful. And once it's successful, then they'll be able to put some permanent signage and things like that in. But again, it's been a combined effort by DOT, South Brunswick, especially the police department, especially the traffic division, and the transportation committee. So tomorrow, we're go. So, and as my colleague said, despite that, please be safe. Respect it. It's only certain times. It's 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. in the morning and 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. at night. Respect it. If you don't, you're going to be ticketed. And even worse, you might be able to get an accident to hurt someone and hurt yourself. So please abide by the rules. Thank you. That's my report, Mayor.
Thank you.
I don't have much to add. My colleagues said it all, so I'm going to defer to you, Mr. Mayor. I have no report.
Ken did it his way, like the old Sinatra song. Nah,
Paul Anka.
We've been, Paul Anka, actually, it's a French song.
Yeah.
There's Charles Aznavour. But we digress.
Yeah, sorry.
Exactly. Yeah, it's summertime. There's a lot of community events going on that we've attended.
Yep.
And it's a hale and hearty community. We can report with honesty, but it is summertime, so let's take it home.
Okay. Mayor, the next item is ordinances for second reading, as there are no ordinances for first reading, and they all require a public hearing. The first ordinance is 2024-17. This is amending Chapter 110, Traffic and Vehicles, enacting weight restrictions on Miller Road. Is there a motion to open to the public?
Yes, motion made.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Is there anyone from the public wishing to speak on ordinance 2024-17?
Seeing no one from the public, motion to close this public session.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Is there a motion to adopt ordinance 2024-17?
Motion to adopt.
I'll second.
Okay, roll call. Mr. Bierman?
Yes.
Mr. Camerata?
Yes.
Ms. Grover?
Yes.
And Mr. Carley?
Yes.
Okay, the next ordinance is 2024-18. This is authorizing Sixth Amendment for contract of sale for Block 23, Lot 2, Block 85, Lots 2.11, 2.19, 2.102, 4.06, 4.13, 4.14, 4.16, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.16, 16, 37.03, 38, and Block 85.04, Lot 12.01 for open space purposes.
Could you say that again? Motion to open to the public.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Is there anyone wishing to speak on ordinance 2024-18?
Seeing none, motion to close the public
I'll
session.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Is there a motion to adopt ordinance 2024-18?
Motion to adopt.
I'll second.
Roll call. Mr. Bierman?
Yes.
Mr. Camerata?
Again, we have very few tools in our basket to stop development and growth unnecessary, and this is one of them. And so I wholeheartedly support this. Yes.
Okay. And Ms. Grover?
Yes.
Mr. Carley?
And Joe said it best, yes.
Okay. The next ordinance is 2024-19, and this is of the Township of South Brunswick and County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, approving and authorizing the entering into execution and delivery of a lease and agreement with the Middlesex County Improvement Authority relating to the issuance of county guaranteed capital equipment and improvement revenue bonds, Series 2024 of the Middlesex County Improvement Authority. Is there a motion to open to the public?
Motion made.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Is there anyone from the public wishing to speak on ordinance 2024-19?
Seeing none, motion to close.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Is there a motion to adopt ordinance 2024-19?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Roll call, Mr. Behrman,
Yes.
Mr. Camerata,
The police need their cars. Yes.
Ms. Grover,
Yes, thank you.
Mr. Carley.
No, Joe, don't take my compliment as license to comment.
No.
Yes.
It wasn't much of a comment. The police need their cars. 5 words.
That's like busting your
I know, of
chops.
course.
The next item, Mayor, on the agenda is the consent agenda. We have items 1 through 16. Is there anything anyone would like pulled?
Could you please pull 7 and 16, please?
Anything else? Okay, if we could have a motion to adopt 1 through 6, 8 through 15.
Motion made.
I'll second.
Roll call, Mr. Behrman,
Yes.
Mr. Camerata,
Yes.
Ms. Grover,
Yes.
and Mr. Carley. Okay, and number 7, this is a resolution authorizing a contract with the lowest responsible and responsive bidder for the purchase of 1 new ambulance and equipment.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Bidlack, I spoke to you about this already, but I just want to let my colleagues know why I'm pulling this. And basically, again, I guess this is a historical night in a sense that we're talking about presidents, but a long time ago, Charlie, you and I established a template that would be used when we do bidding, and that was to have all references regarding the company and things like that. This is a company, the VCI, that I've never heard of, and this is regarding the purchase of a ambulance for $450,000. There's only one bidder, so that's even more, in my opinion, even more important to have a reference list. So, Brian, if you could do so.
Yep.
And the other thing, the bid specs said there was 2 ambulances, one for Kendall Park and one for Monmouth Junction. So I'm not sure, I mean, it's obvious this is for Monmouth Junction, so what happened to the one at Kendall Park, I would like to know, too. And if they could bifurcate a bid like that.
Once upon a time, I was on the EMS commission at that time. If you recall, we established a pattern where even though the ambulance corps are independent from municipal government, they're essential.
Yes.
Because I used to say when I had my first heart attack, I want someone to show up. Well, I've been there, done that, and they showed up.
Mission accomplished.
Correct. And so the long and short of it is we made a commitment to replace their rigs every year in sequence. That included Kingston, but Kingston sort of folded in, not sort of, they folded into Kendall Park. And so I'd like to see when you're doing that legwork for Councilman Camerata, just to get a sense of where we're at with that, because it was like in every year we do
One to three.
one of them, and repeat and launch. I'd like to see where we're, just for
Good point. Good point.
I will do that.
curiosity's sake.
No problem. We'll get it.
Yeah.
Okay, the next item is a resolution authorizing change order number 1 of the contract with BlackRock Enterprises for improvements to New Road project.
Yeah, Mr. Bidlack, this one I'd like to have some more information about. Basically, the way I read this is CME is endorsing, there were several contractual improvements that were added on to the tune of about $525,000. To offset that, instead of removing and replacing the sewer lines with new ones, they're now just cleaning them
And slip lining.
and slip lining them, and it's just happens to be about the same amount. They have that, they explain it, but they don't say they recommend that. So my question is, what's the reason why they're now only going to be cleaning instead of replacing?
It's because of cost. We can do it, we can slip line it, it'll work, and we're gonna save about $400,000.
Yeah, because the net really is a zero.
It's a wash, 527 each way.
I think I don't, okay.
I mean, that's
that's
what
what I
I
have,
read
right.
here. I mean, I added it up, so.
I will get that
No,
clarified.
it shows you change order number 1. The original contract amount was $3 million.
Oh, no, I know, it's zero, but you add all the
Oh,
pluses
I
and
know, but
minuses,
it's
it
the
zeros
net change
out.
order
Oh,
is $0.
Absolutely, zero.
That's what I mean by
Yeah,
net change order zero. But,
Yeah.
like, again, to Councilman Camerata's question, did they do this because they
Yeah.
didn't want to increase this bid, or did they do it because this is the way to do it?
Right, that's exactly.
I have my thoughts, none of which are supported by fact, just about my opinion, so I'll keep it to myself. But with the technology slip lining, we've been doing that.
Yeah.
100%.
The remove and replace is a little bit. I know. You guys were worried about dollars and cents. I'm worried about the.
Well, why wasn't it
Here, myself.
initially
Well,
slip line
I
instead of
guess
new?
it's a functionality.
Yeah, right.
What
Like-
changed?
Like, you know, what changed? Did they
Yeah.
camera these things, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, this is fine, we're better off slip line it? I don't know.
Yeah, what the heck knows?
Anyway, just,
That's all.
Okay,
that's all I got.
Let's get a report for the next work session.
yeah, well, do that.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Thanks.
Mayor, we have the address from the second floor. Is there anyone, is there a motion to open?
Yes.
Is there a motion to open?
Yeah, motion to open to the public.
Thank you.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries.
Oh, wait a minute, oppose.
Can you state your name for the record?
You'll be in the newspaper tomorrow. As I used to say when I was on council and they busted my chops. Okay, we'll let that go. Okay, thank you. I'll keep it short.
Can you
It's
state your
only-
name for the record?
Yes. Let me see. I have to remember that. What's my name? John O'Sullivan, 33 Wexford Drive, Monmouth Junction, New Jersey, 08852 732-329-0509, which you already have on file.
What's your
Okay,
social
thank you.
security number?
Good evening. The reason I have came here tonight is to make a comment about the council's wish to give its okay to the many proposed redevelopment plans. South Brunswick is a great town with lots of areas of wide open land to enjoy. The time has come for the council to inform the citizens what is going on by more than what is required by law. My last statement, just do not change South Brunswick into a city on US 1. Thank you for the time.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John.
Anyone else wishing to speak?
Seeing none, motion to close the the public address.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Mayor, the next item on the agenda is the voucher list. Is there a motion to accept the August 21st, 2024 voucher list?
Motion to pay the bills.
I'll second.
Okay. Roll call. Mr. Bierman?
Yes.
Mr. Camerata?
Yes.
Ms. Grover?
Yes.
And Mr. Carley?
Yes.
Okay. It is now time for the executive session. If we could have a joint motion to go into executive session and adjourn immediately after.
Without hopping, what do we do?
I said, and. You can do it.
I'll make a joint motion. Q.
We don't?
You know why I
Okay.
call you Brian? It's alliterative with your last name.
Okay. So did you
Mental
just
pick.
want to just adjourn?
Yeah.
Let's keep it that way.
What, not seeing him in a long time? We're looking good.
Because of the way things have been.
Just